Hello and welcome to the Habit Coach podcast. I am Ashdin Doctor, your habit coach, and today in the hot seat we have Sakshi. Now, Sakshi asks, how do I keep negativity and negative people from impacting you? It is easy to start thinking of negative when people around you only focus on the negatives. Also, it is not always possible to avoid meeting those people, especially when they are your close relatives or office colleagues. I want to focus on the positives and practice gratitude despite the negative thoughts from people. Lovely. So, as you know, that we become who we hang out with. And this is a very, very dangerous place to be because if everyone around us is negative, automatically we start thinking negative thoughts. There was a crazy study done, and I think I mentioned this in one of our podcasts, is where one person out of a group of 5 was overweight and all the others started to put on weight. The reason being that the habits of the person who was overweight slowly started seeping into the other people. Now, the same thing happens when we have negative people in our life. What happens is that we start thinking the same way that they start thinking. And it is critical that we create an insulation between ourselves and these negative people. What is an insulation? Think of a wire that is conducting electricity, right? Imagine inside the wire is all your positivity that you've been working on and your gratitude practice and all of that and your good thoughts. Now, suddenly, if you don't have that plastic insulation on the outside and somebody who's negative comes and touches you, what's going to happen? All that positivity is going to go away. Now, I know in electrics and electronics, it doesn't work that way. The negative charge comes to the positive charge. But for the time being, let's understand this as our positivity gets impacted by that negative charge that's coming in. Okay? So what we do is we have to create a layer of insulation around us. So in order to insulate yourself, you have to do these 3 things. The first is, every time somebody says something negative, ask yourself, is there any truth to this? Is there any truth to what is being said here? And if there isn't, just dismiss it off. The second is to say, all right, that is your opinion. That is not my opinion. I refuse to be dragged into what you are believing. I believe something else. And the third is to constantly keep yourself full of this positive energy. That means constantly reading things that are opening your mind and expanding it to new possibilities, opening your mind to a positive outlook towards life. Normally what happens is that we are surrounded by people who are either thinking fearful thoughts, stressful thoughts. When they're thinking fearful thoughts and stressful thoughts, understand that it is their imagination that is going wild and creating these fears. It is their imagination that is creating that stress. Most of these fears and these stresses don't really exist in our life. And we have to realize that it's almost like we are watching their stress, their fears on a movie screen, right? Imagine if we took on board all the stuff that we saw in a movie. Like we went for a movie and we saw a Terminator coming and killing people and we thought it was real life, right? That is what happens when we start hanging out with these negative people. Instead, you have to think of it as a movie. It's going on in their life. It's going on in their mind. And we're just here eating popcorn as entertainment. Okay? So start thinking about creating these boundaries and insulations. The final kind of negative people that we have in our life are people who just constantly gossip and gossip and gossip and gossip and gossip. And you know what that person did. And they start talking about others. They start talking about these stupid situations that people have been. And that again drains us of our positive energy. What we have to do is realize that gossiping is a very, very negative activity. And I've done a full podcast on gossiping itself. You have to first stop and look at them when they start talking badly about others and say, maybe there's another way that we can look at this. Maybe there is this positive way. Maybe there is this angle to the story that we don't know. And interesting things take place when you start having these conversations with these people. They will stop gossiping with you because you're no more fun to that gossip. You're trying to put a positive twist on all their negative thoughts. They don't like that. And hence, they will retaliate. They will stop talking to you about it. So this way, you can actually break down the negative behavior. You can change their mindset towards you. They might not spend enough time with you. And that's a good thing because you want to insulate yourself. Find good, positive people in your life. And you will find them. You just have to look for them. Find good, positive people. Listen to lots of good, positive talks on YouTube, on Instagram, on these podcasts. I'm so happy that you listen to The Habit Coach. And that way, you will be filling your mind with positivity and creating this insulation around you instead of letting that negativity come and take away your positivity. All right, fantastic. Now, if you have a question that you want me to answer on the next Habit Coach Hot Seat episode, check out the link below. Send me a nice, big, juicy description of what it is that you're going through, and I'm going to try and answer it on the next episode. I'm Ashdin Doctor, your habit coach, and remember, awesome lives start with awesome habits. Now, if you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on social media. We are at IVM Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to reach out to me, I am at Ashdin Doc on Twitter and Instagram. We have a brand new habit coaching online course, quizzes, videos, and a lot more on the website awesome180.com. So check it out now.